Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. For this video, we're going to be talking about the new newsletter from the Legends team, and this one features stuff like more details on the Legends Pass and changes to PvP, such as a new leader slot being added, boost mechanic being added, and I believe also a change in the way that they're doing points, and some other stuff like changes to co-op as well. So this is a jam-packed one. There's a ton of stuff in here, and I'm really excited about some of the stuff in here. Some of the stuff not so much, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more Legends content like this, as well as showcases and summons and stuff like that. For the record, we will be going ahead and doing some videos tonight for the new Majub and Goku coming out as well, so you're not going to want to miss that, so be sure to tune in for those. So I'm going to start off by asking you guys, outside of the Legends Pass, I'm going to remove Legends Pass entirely from this discussion, this question. Which of these things are you most excited about? The changes to PvP, the changes to co-op, and if it's a specific change, let me know what you guys are most excited about versus what are you most apprehensive or scared about, right? I'm going to remove Legends Pass. I already know that's going to be the one that people hate the most because it is what it is, right? So for the record, Legends Pass, I'm just going to summarize and start reading this page. It's a pay-only service, okay? It is a pay-only service. It's not like the current Battle Pass that we have where you are able to get the free track of the rewards and stuff like that. This is a subscription-based service. This is literally only subscription. And for the record, they even say here it remains valid for 1 month after payment. If the subscription is not canceled at least 2 days before the end of the valid period, it will automatically renew and your account will be charged. Some people were questionable about this, saying it's scummy or whatever. I mean, you could say it's scummy, but do understand this is how literally every single game does a subscription. Every single service does a subscription, really. They auto renew before it's time to renew if you don't cancel it. That's pretty much how it is, right? So this is basic general practice of subscriptions. The perks are the Prime Ticket printing robot. We still don't know what the hell that is, but it is what it is. We'll find out when we get there. 400 equipment slots, 5 party preset slots, so you can save 5 more parties. Faster auto mode, I believe that was ×2. 1 extra login bonus selection, that's where you log in and you get an extra selection, and 2 adventure slots. So one thing that I'll say is for the equipment slots, they did say, because people were scared about the equipment slots, oh hey, if I have 400 equipment bonus and I cancel my service, now I need to sell 400 equipments or whatever I had before I could even play the game, because you know how the game locks you out if you have too much equipment in your box. You need to go sell some stuff, clean it up, and then you can play. They do say here that basically, long story short, if you buy the subscription service, this 400 is an entirely separate pool. It is not added onto your base 400. It's like almost like a separate page of equipment. Think of it that way. And the equipment that is stored there will just be unusable if you cancel your subscription, and you're able to continue going based on the amount of your normal storage space. So as always, if you have 250 slots normally and your 250 is maxed out, you will need to sell stuff, but this 400, you can have 400 bonus here and cancel your subscription, whatever the case is, it will not be impacted by this. Now, like I said, that equipment in that other page of 400 is going to be unusable, but you can move that equipment from that page if you cancel your subscription, whatever, to the regular amount of equipment that you would ordinarily have outside of the Legends Pass and use the equipment by doing that. Now, again, if you cap out there, you will need to sell. That's normal stuff, but you are not locked out if you don't have this. So that's a good change. They just make those slots unusable, basically. But again, you can move the equipment from the unusable to being usable. So, +2 adventure slots. Don't really have much to say about that. The rest of this is kind of like quality of life, so quality of life stuff. That could have been really added anywhere. Really, you can make that argument about everything except for, I guess, the printing ticket robot, because none of those robots are really free. So yeah, like, it all could have been quality of life stuff, but they clearly saved some of this so it can be added here. I mean, take from that what you will, right? +2 adventure slots makes to where there's pretty much 4 equipment slots, or adventure slots, excuse me, that are pretty much premium, but it is what it is. Basically, just clear those rewards faster. +1 login bonus. This is kind of whatever, unless we're in a period where it's like doubled, or a celebration where they put new stuff there. Once upon a time, they used to put new EXs there. If you pull them, you can get their Z power there. They don't do that anymore. There's a lot of stuff like that that they used to do. Like, they used to sell characters outright in packs, you know, in the shop on the new banners and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff they used to do. They don't do anymore. So this is irrelevant unless you're during a period where it's actually really relevant. Faster auto mode is ×2, plus which is again quality of life thing. Clear your ultra space time rush faster. Woo. +5 preset slots. I don't really use that often anyway. So yeah, the main perk is the top 2 in my opinion. We need to know what the ticket is, right? So they talk about PvP here. So there's a couple of things that are getting added to PvP. Boost characters. These are all provisional ideas, by the way. Leader slot, provisional again. And improvement of the ranking system, not provisional, meaning that that's basically something that's guaranteed to happen and happen in the way they say. So boost characters are interesting. Basically what the boost characters change is, by the way, these are scheduled to come at the end of 2021. Basically what the boost characters is it's akin to the Tournament of Power modes. If you play the Tournament of Power mode, it works as follows. Tier 1 is a group of characters that basically offer the highest boost or get the highest boost. So no, Tier 1 in this case is not the best characters overall. It's typically, in this case that I'm talking about, going to be underused / characters that don't get enough play. There's some good characters in there based on Tournament of Power. There's some really good ones in there. It just kind of depends on the usage of characters. You know how they used to send out, like, I don't know if they still do it that often anymore, but they used to always send out after the PvP season the top 10 or whatever, top 20 most used characters. Basically those characters would all be technically like tier 5. Those characters get used too much, so they're not going to get that much of a boost. Now they do expand upon this because the boost is also going to be applicable to the abilities of the character, and it's also going to apply to new characters that are just released. So let's go ahead and read this briefly, and then I'll give a little bit more commentary on the topic of this. To increase the usage of underplayed characters in PvP, and for new characters who have not been limit broken, we're currently developing a boost feature similar to the Tournament of Power mode's tier system. Oh, hold on. And new characters who have not been limit broken. So what's the cap on that? Like, how many stars can they actually have? Right? Like, what's the cap on this? Their base pull rate of 2 stars? Is that it? If that's the case, I don't really mind this as much. I'm not as apprehensive about this, unless I'm misunderstanding what limit broken means, because that's limit break, right? I've been playing this game since launch. You would think I'd know. I just don't use those terms. I just use the word stars. Anyways, we plan to change the affected characters regularly. Where similar to the Tournament of Power, the least used characters get the strongest boosts while maintaining a slot available for new characters. So yeah, that's kind of... Okay, I get it. So the Tournament of Power mode also has a slot for, I guess, new... I think it says boost characters, and then it also lists tiers. I don't think it says new specifically. But yeah. One way in which this will differ from Tournament Power mode is that characters who receive a boost in PvP will have their abilities enhanced in rating matches for the duration of the season. So for the entirety of the season, they're going to get their abilities enhanced. This way, the most used characters will constantly be changing, and everyone can expect to enjoy competing in PvP with a wide variety of different teams. To ensure that the boost feature's main aim of strengthening characters that aren't used much or have not been limit broken many times. See, now they're saying many times. Does not spoil the overall balance of Legends. We plan to continue making fine adjustments to the system after its implementation. So again, what's the limit of limit breaks? How many stars can they actually have? 6 star? 7 star? Like, okay, so 14 star new character isn't going to get as crazy of a boost, right? That would just give you auto win pretty much. Not really, but you get the point. The only thing I was kind of apprehensive about with this was there's 2 things. One, I'm scared, and I still am until I see it in action. I'm still scared of new character showcases from YouTube. Because what's going to happen is for the record, we already can make these units look way better than they actually are in practice for the average player, whether it's because of the number of stars or the team being geared towards specifically making the characters look good, putting them in favorable positions. Like, that's the thing about YouTube showcases, right? Now, I'll let the cat out of the bag. It's not some huge secret. We're trying to make the character look as good as possible. It is what it is, right? That may not always be practical for the average player. So I'm scared of those because the characters may have, depending on how this is implemented, inflated stats, meaning they're going to be way better than they... And this is not just for showcases as well. It's for the actual players that are getting these characters. They're not going to look as good after this season. They may look good, I guess, if they're a low boost or whatever. You get the... Or high boost, I guess. You get the point. But they're not going to look as good on average, I guess, especially if they're a good character that gets a lot of usage, right? So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't really know what they're going to do with that. And the only other caveat is, as a YouTuber, one of the things that I have said often, and a lot of people say, is if you're a free player, you should be investing in like 3 or 4 teams, and that's it. Skip everything else. Like, if you don't main GT, why are you pulling for some of the characters that come out? I mean, to be fair, the new characters that are coming out, they're going to be really good on Sun Family and Fusion Warriors respectively. So yeah, you have a value to pull for them, but still, like, maybe you don't summon on certain banners and you highly gear towards a couple teams, and that's where you're going to get the most viability. That would allow you to be the most competitive, as you're going to get the stars and the main characters you use, and they're going to last for a while for you. But the thing is, if you only have a few teams, you may have bad seasons with boost, right? It's gonna really, it's a good change. Don't get me wrong, because I like the fact that you're not gonna see the same teams every match eventually, because people are gonna be more geared towards getting the boost. I'd imagine. Maybe you don't see Sun Family every match if you run into them every match. Maybe you don't see Androids every match if you run into them every match. Like, I like that idea of it, but I don't love the couple that I mentioned. So it's kind of one of those things that's kind of good and bad in my opinion. But I think think overall it's an update that ultimately has the potential, depending on how it's implemented, to be something that's more good than it is bad, right? We'll see ultimately. And again, I need to know how many stars the limit break cap is, because that may actually, you know, the thing is, if the limit break cap is at a certain number, I think the way to change it to YouTube is to say, okay, in my showcase video, I now have to pull this character to get over that cap. Now, the downside is, if the cap is 7 stars, well, you're just going to see my new character at 7 stars. It is what it is. So take from that what you will, but maybe they don't have an extra 20% of stats they wouldn't have had otherwise. I don't know. What's the actual cap on that, right? All right, so leader slots. Leader slots is a really interesting change. So basically, long story short, what this is they're going to put a slot, and this is PvP specific, by the way. They're going to put a slot on your team that will allow you to put a character in that slot. The example they use is Goku being on like a powerful opponent team, or Frieza being on a Saiyan Saga team, right? Or Saiyan team in general. So basically, the character in that slot will have 2 things happen. They will have all of their Z ability bonuses be applied to the entirety of the team. So if you put Goku on a Saiyan team, he'll offer HP, and not only that, you know how he has HP for movies and then strike attack for Hera Clan, he'll offer both of those buffs to every freaking body on the team. That's he's got to be one of the best characters to put in that slot currently. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you put a character in that slot, they'll apply their ability to the whole team, but that's not all. They'll also get the entirety of the rest of the team's abilities as well. So Goku will be on a Saiyan team, and he would get all 6, and everybody else, assuming it's a full Saiyan team, I guess, would get all 6. Now, this does not apply to color restricted ones like blue purple Z abilities, like the EX Majin Buu or EX Android 14 is blue purple. There's some red green ones, like red Pycon, I guess, is red green, something like that. It doesn't apply to that type of stuff. But it also doesn't apply to Zenkai abilities, where like Blue Broly, I think, is his Zenkai abilities, like Blue Saga from the movies character. Goku technically would get that, but if it's anybody else in that slot that's not fitting that criteria, they're not getting that buff, right? So basically, like if you have a Zenkai 7 Red Gohan on your team, Goku is not getting his Zenkai ability. But he would get his actual like Z ability for Hybrid Saiyan Blast Attack or whatever. He would get that, funnily enough. So that's the main thing. Again, to recap, character put in the slot gets all the buffs for the team, and their buff goes to the entirety of the team. So they get all the buffs, and basically, long story short, minus the color restricted and Zenkai ability ones. And they also don't apply color restricted and Zenkai ability ones to the entire team as well, from where I'm reading it. So if you can't put a Zenkai there and say, oh, I'm going to have this character give all these buffs to the entire team and have them give out their Zenkai ability to the entire team, if that character doesn't meet the criteria, they're not getting the Zenkai buff. So it is kind of balanced, I guess, in that way. But this is pretty crazy. They say here that the aim of this is, you know, to have new players be able to make the most out of their characters, and I'm fine with that. I think that's cool. But you can see how this could be easily exploitable. They do say here, here's for the record, I was scared about like Zenkai 7 Gohan being on like every freaking team, for example. They say here, in addition, leader slot perks will not apply to Zenkai Awakened characters. However, so that Zenkai Awakening does not put you at a disadvantage, though, we plan to add a feature that will allow you to deactivate and switch between Zenkai Awakening at the time the leader slot provisional is implemented. So the character that's a Zenkai 7, they're not going to be Zenkai Awoken characters will not get the leader slot perks. So keep that in mind. I believe that just means from being in the leader slot. I think that if you have a different character in the leader slot, though, the Z ability from that leader slot character will still get applied to Zenkai Awoken characters. But if not, then that's another thing on top of this, too. But they do say they're going to add an ability to turn off your Zenkai for your character. I don't know a realm in which you'd want to do that. I just sacrifice the Z ability, dude. I'm not turning off my Zenkai because the characters get way worse. Why would you do that? But I guess if you wanted to have the option, you could do it. But I can see where this could be easily exploitable. Like you put a character like LF Purple Gohan or even Yellow Gohan. They're both really good characters. You put them on like random teams that, you know, the funny thing is now you can actually kind of really run. If you really want to, you can actually really now genuinely run and get a full Z ability set, that full revive team. Like the problem with the revive team was that you didn't really get, I guess you almost get a full Z ability set because there's still going to be some issues in the way because Gohan, I don't believe Goku offers Sun Family. I believe he's God Key and Saiyan, but either way, pretty much full Z abilities because you can put Cell in the leader spot, have him get all the Saiyan/Sun Family Z abilities, and have his buff apply to the entire team, and everybody's got like 5 or 6 Z abilities. So you can run stuff like that. You can put that Gohan, like I said, on different teams, like an Android team if you really wanted to. You can do some crazy stuff now. Again, assuming it doesn't apply to Zenkai Awoken characters as they list here. If it does, that's a whole different thing. We'll have to see how it works, but like you can do some crazy stuff here. Like I said, Goku is probably, he's got to be one of the Z tier options to put in this spot because his Z ability is really good and he's a very meta and very good character himself. So there's a number of characters you can put here, like the new Revival Frieza, not Revival, excuse me, the LF Frieza. You can put him there. There's a lot of stuff you can really do, and this can get really interesting, man. Really interesting. Overall, this is another update. I think that's more good than bad, though. I think it's more good than bad, but I can easily see where this can get exploited. So we need to see how it works and how people use this. But as a team building connoisseur, I actually kind of love the idea in general. It's going to definitely change up the way that the game is played in PvP. On top of the fact that, again, we do have boost feature getting added as well. Last but not least here, for PvP, development is underway for several improvements to rating matches and battle ranks, such as better matchmaking at the start of seasons, the handling of unfair play, and rewards for PvP users who rank outside of the top 20,000 and more. We're currently in planning stages for these features that will be added at the end of the year and beyond, so please look forward to them. We'll notify you when we get there. Okay, they basically don't tell you anything about that. So they're also adding a rematch option for co-op. That's one thing that people are asking for a lot. So this, you do have to be playing with a guild member or somebody that's on your friend list, but still, that's really good. I'll take it. So changes to equipment upgrades. I'm assuming this is going to finally be something like that this game dearly needs is something I've talked about for a while, and I believe Nas has talked about for a while. But yeah, the ability to go up, something similar to like 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, where you have like an item that goes up, you know, rerolls and goes up. That would be great, as opposed to just being completely random. So I'm assuming that's going to be what this is, and maybe they streamline it and make it quicker. Shortening of all connection and load times again. Okay, that's good. So that's pretty much everything. So let me know what you guys think. I personally am most excited about the leader skill change, but that's just me being excited about being able to build more teams, really, and do more videos for you guys, really. So let me know what you guys think is the best change here, the worst change here. Again, Legends Pass doesn't count. And let me know what you guys think overall. Thank you all for tuning in. Please tune in tonight as we're going to have showcases for these characters. They'll be up for you tomorrow as well if you can't make it tonight, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next Dragon Ball Legends video.